All right, back here again on the Sort of Sports podcast, episode 148. We got a couple different things I want to talk about today, but let's start off with the NBA playoffs. And that basically went into the second round. Feels like yesterday we went in the second round, but technically we started Monday with the Cavs playing the Pacers and losing, which we'll get to here in a second. But last night, two really good games. We had the Celtics completely collapsing at the Garden. I mean, that was a terrible loss for the Celtics. Most missed three-pointers in playoff history. And a part of me is like excited. You guys know I took I took the Knicks to win the finals at the beginning of the season. When I did my playoff predictions, I took Thunder over Cavs. But at the beginning of the year, I said Knicks over Thunder. I was like, oh man, I was kind of talking myself into it. I like this Knicks team. I really like how Karl-Anthony Towns fits there. I feel like Brunson is exceptional, probably a top 10 player. And when I say top 10, he's probably like 9 or 10. But Brunson is super talented. Just kind of has a little bit of 2018 Harden to his game, which may be crazy, but that's truly what I think. But I just don't. The Celtics had their worst shooting night possible, right? And they still barely lost. Barely lost. Came down to the wire. And, it went to overtime. And the Celtics played one of their worst games. So to me, it's like, yeah, the Knicks can't win this series. Maybe the Celtics, can give up another one and go 6 games, but I feel like 6 games max here for the Knicks. If there's a team that's going to beat the Celtics, it's probably the Thunder or Cavs. That's really the only two teams I can see doing it. Would I love to see the Knicks do it? Of course, 100%. You guys know I usually go heart before head on this one, but on this one, I feel like I just have to. In general, I usually try to pick what I want. This is one of those where it's just too obvious to me. Like, you have to take the Celtics. So I still think the Celtics will win that series. But let's talk about what actually happened in the first round. What did we learn? What did we see? So Boston went 5 games with the Magic. I think that's probably a game more than some people would have expected. The Magic are in a weird spot because it felt like last year it was like, oh, watch out for us next year. Next year's really going to be something. And then this year they had a ton of injury problems. And so it's going to be weird. Like, I feel like next year, the 2026 season is going to be very important for the Magic because it's like, okay, are we becoming the Cavs or are the Pistons now that team? Like, who's the next new team that's going to be near the top of the East? Is it us or is it the Pistons? Can it be both? And of course, to me, you guys know I think it's the Pistons. But the Magic obviously believe that's them, and they got to reevaluate this offseason and see what happens next season. And see if they are, because if they're not good next year and they still are like near the bottom half of playoff teams for the East, I don't know what you really do in Orlando. You're in a weird spot there because you obviously have talented players in Paolo Banchero, and Franz Wagner, but I don't know. Somebody posed to me, they were like, can Franz Wagner really be your second best player if you're going to be an elite team? And I was like, yeah, that's a fair point. Because like Wagner, I think, is an elite 3. Like if Wagner is your third best player, whoo, you're doing good. But if he's your second, can you really be one of the top teams in a conference? I don't know. I think not. But I feel like that's a question for the Orlando Magic going into next year. But they got eliminated by the Celtics. Then we go to Cavs Heat. Sweep from the Cavs. Got to give credit where credit's due. Cavs absolutely took care of business there in the first round. Let's talk about Pistons Knicks. Really thought we were going to fight back there. We go down 3-1. We win game 5. And I'm just like, hey, what if, right? What if? And then I was watching game 6. Brunson comes down, 5 seconds left. Hits the game-winning 3, and that was that. And then I give Cade credit. He was trying to set up Malik Beasley for the game-winning 3 because he had the option to take it. And he's like, no, but Malik's even better than me at shooting threes. I'm going to swing it, and then the pass was off, and it goes out of bounds. And that's just a heartbreaking loss. We could have won that game. Next year, though, this Pistons team, I hate being like there's always next year guy. I don't usually like doing that. But with the Pistons, you got to think they had the biggest turnaround in NBA history. A tripled their win total. They went from having the worst seasons ever last year to winning 40-plus games this season and making the playoffs. Like, you can't be too upset. And I'm not. Did I want them to go farther? I mean, I picked them to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, of course I wanted them to go farther. But I wanted them to go farther, but, like, there is no shame for the Pistons. There is no shame. Like, this is a great season for Detroit. And going into next year, I'm stoked to see what the Detroit Pistons do next. So, but it is on me. I did take them to make the Eastern Conference Finals, and I was very wrong. So, then there's that. I also took the Lakers to be in the conference finals, and they got beaten 5 games by the Timberwolves. I did say, and I stand by this, the Lakers, this is a very important offseason for them, because I think next year they could go in being one of the best teams in the league if they do this right and they play their cards correctly. It's going to be interesting to see who they go get. We're going to talk about Giannis last before for NBA talk, but the Lakers, I mean, they just got waxed, right? Anthony Edwards balled out. I mean, it's a Lakers team that wants to play small, and it's a Timberwolves team that likes to go big with Randall and Gobert, and so Timberwolves played off that, and that's why, I mean, going into this next round against the Warriors, you know, I think the Timberwolves are the best player in the series. I think Anthony Edwards is currently better than Steph Curry, and the Warriors want to play small, and the Timberwolves want to play big. And so it's like, it's hard for me to bet against Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry in the playoffs, but, like, everything's screaming to me that the Timberwolves should beat this Warriors team in maybe 5 games, right? If the Warriors win tonight, that kind of changes things. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the Timberwolves beating the Warriors should be relatively easy for Minnesota. I feel like that's a really nice matchup for the Timberwolves. Now, talking about the Warriors, they go 7 games. The Rockets nearly blow a 3-1 lead. That would have been bonkers. This Warriors team is about what I expect in the playoffs. I think there's people are already starting to be like, oh, why not the Warriors? I mean, that's what they were talking about on NBA on TNT last night. They were like, why not the Warriors? You know, maybe the Warriors can get something done here. Maybe this Warriors team's, you know, going to be why not them? Why can't they be a championship level team? And I've had people already be like, dude, that Warriors team. And like, I 100% see it. Like, I mean, if there's a team that could go on a random run and win the finals, it's definitely that team. But I think we're underrating that this Timberwolves team is good. Now, did they get worse getting rid of Karl Anthony Towns? 1,000% in my mind. Like, I think they miss him. But I just think this Timberwolves team is just built to beat them. I mean, if you said who's the better team, I might say the Warriors, but this Timberwolves team is in a much better spot, I feel like, to, like, just the way they're going to attack the game. The Timberwolves have an advantage. They do. And they have the best player in the series. And so between those two things, I feel like the Timberwolves should take care of business with this Warriors team relatively easily. Now, granted, if Steph and Jimmy combine for 60 a night, now we're in a different game, right? Now we are witnessing 2 studs just blast off trying to get this team to the conference finals. But I think it might be all for naught because, like, the winner of Nuggets Thunder is probably going to the finals. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's, you know, Nuggets took them 7 games to beat the Clippers. That was, I mean, it got scary, but then the nice thing was Game 7 wasn't much of a game. So it was like, okay, Nuggets got out of here. They're fine. And the Thunder obviously took care of business, swept the Grizzlies. But I said on a TikTok video I made, like, the NBA should announce the MVP during this Nuggets Thunder series. Could you imagine? It's like Game 4, tied 2-2, and then that night they announce Shea won MVP, and then Jokic, like, outscores him or something, or vice versa, right? Jokic wins MVP, and then the Thunder win the next game. Shea is 35. Like, that would be so much fun. I really think they should do it. I don't know why they're not doing it. They should announce it, like, as soon as possible. Get it done, please. So I would enjoy that immensely. But we'll see if they actually get that done, even though that would be incredible. But Nuggets won last night. Thunder up 3 points. They do the classic overthink of, like, oh, we're gonna foul them and make them shoot. I just never understand that thought process. Like, the amount of times I've seen it work, I feel like never stand out. Like, I'm never like, oh, that was a smart move. I'm just like, okay, fine, you did that. And then I've seen it fail enough that I'm like, don't do that. Like, just force them to make a 3 to send it to overtime. Like, just do that. It just doesn't, whatever. It was whatever. Then, of course, they foul Thunder. Chet goes 1 for 2. And then now, Thunder up 2. Nuggets get a last second shot there from Aaron Gordon. Boom. Aaron Gordon now has 2 massive playoff moments. Aaron Gordon showing out here in the playoffs. Nice work. And it's kind of like RJ and I talked. If the Nuggets are going to beat the Thunder, it's actually not Jokic carrying them. What you need is the entire Nuggets team to basically step up with Jokic. You need a big day from Murray every game. You need Aaron Gordon to step up. You need Christian Brown to step up, right? Like, you need those. You need Russell Westbrook to play really well. And I didn't think Russ did that bad last night. I'm going to be honest. The three-pointers weren't falling, but he had a nice play. I think it was in the second quarter, about midway through, where he just kind of crossed over at about the free throw line, just pulled up mid-range jumper, drained it. And on the broadcast, Ian Eagle's like, you have to wonder where the scoring's going to come from with this group. And it was basically, he was just saying that because Jokic was off the floor. And Russell Westbrook was like, bang. And he goes, and maybe it's Westbrook. Like, he did say, like, hey, look at Westbrook. And that was a good piece from Russell Westbrook. And I think the Nuggets getting game 1 is huge. It's kind of a big statement. Jokic had such a classic Jokic stretch there where it was like, I think this was also in the second quarter, where they inbound the ball to Jokic. He's about the mid-range. I think Dort's on him. I think it was Dort, I want to say. And on the broadcast, they're like, okay, let's see what the Nuggets do here. Tight defense from the Thunder. And he basically just stands there like this for about 5 seconds, looks at the defender, and then just plants his feet, fires from mid-range, drains it. And then the next play down, he gets the ball, does that weird, like, hobbly Euro step that looks terrible. And then just kind of chucks it like that from the free throw line and goes in. It's like the dude's playing on rookie sliders. It's like comical watching him. I don't know how he does it. I know some people hate it, but he's my favorite player to watch. Because even if he's not scoring, he's doing some crazy bonkers pass. Like, he made a pass that was like diagonal, where he was basically on the free throw line of one side of the court and bombed it all the way to the corner of the opposite end. And I mean opposite, like diagonally. So, like, he's on this elbow, and then he launches it over here to the corner. And it was a chest pass. It wasn't a toss. It was just... And, it was right to him. It was crazy. It's truly magical to watch. Like, I made a point, I think I might have said this on the podcast. I think it was about the beginning of this year where I was like, look, I think it's a scary conversation, but there's a chance that by year 3, Wemby is the best player in the NBA, or at least top 3. And I really meant that. I thought Wemby could be there. And this is not a criticism of Victor Wembanyama at all. This is just praise for Jokic. I don't think Wemby will be the best player in the NBA till at least year 5 or 6, because I don't see Jokic falling off that much, and he's so far ahead of everybody else. And Shai's super talented. I'm not taking anything away from Shai Gilgeous. I'm just saying Jokic is so good. It's like he's the king of bullshit. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than that. You're like, what is he doing? Why is he shooting that? And then it goes in. It's like, what is he trying to do with this pass? And then it works. It's crazy to me. I have never seen a player that's so talented it doesn't feel like with Steph Curry, it was like, this is bonkers because how did he make that? Or with LeBron, it's like, oh my gosh, look at this, this guy's so athletic, this guy's so smart. With Jokic, you're like, why did you shoot that? That looks terrible. That's a weird shot form you just did. That's weird time. Like, what are you doing? And then it goes in. You're just like, okay. Like, it genuinely kind of feels like it's like a movie. It's like Mike or like Thunderstruck or like one of those. It's like some otherworldly force has destined him to be good or something. It's crazy. I don't even know how it works. It's bonkers, man. It's bonkers. But I love watching it. I think he's gotten a little bigger. I don't mean to be mean to old Jokic. I tried to say Joker and Jokic. I couldn't decide which one I was going to say, and so I mixed it. But he's gotten a little thicker, and I don't think it's a bad thing for the playoffs. You know, maybe not like fat. He's just like, I don't know how to explain. Like, he's just more filled out now. I don't know. He's just. Oh man. Yeah, I would say game one against the Thunder, big statement in OKC. I do want to state real quick, city uniforms should be outlawed for the playoffs. I know there are some teams with some cool ones, but overall, no, I don't want to see them. I want to see the standard home and aways, even though they're not called that anymore. You know what I'm saying? The associations and icons. I want to see the standard jerseys. Maybe you can throw in an alternate every once in a while, but no cities. There shouldn't be anything that completely diverges from your main color scheme. I don't want to see that. No. Stop it. Like, the city jerseys already frustrate me. We've had this conversation before because it's just a scheme to get people to buy a jersey every year. And while there are some cool ones, like especially like the Miami Heat Vice City set, it's not worth the other 28 bad ones. Like, I'm so anti-city jerseys. I'm really afraid because the NFL is going to do their version of it with the rivalries is what they're going to call it or something like that, and I'm terrified because I'm like I don't like it. I think it's dumb. But have I bought a city jersey before? Yes, I have a Detroit Pistons. Was that 2021? I want to say, yeah, I think 2021 city editions. It's cool, but it's like I'm pretty anti-city edition. That was also like pre me hating them, I want to say. Like, that was back before I was like, oh, these are kind of fun. It's not 2021, because 2021 is the best city edition the Pistons ever had. I think mine's a 2020. Yeah, mine's a 2020. It's a Sadiq Bey. The Sadiq Bey 2020 Pistons City Edition. I've been a Sadiq Bey lover for a long time. If the Pistons had Sadiq Bey, they would have beat the Pistons. Oh, the Knicks. I misspoke. If the Pistons had Sadiq Bey, they would have beat the Knicks. That kind of ruined the joke. I was saying that mostly as a joke, but I do miss Sadiq Bey a lot. I think like Tim Hardaway Jr., but Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, like between those guys, we don't really need another like I'm gonna shoot the three type of guy, but I just love Sadiq Bey. He was great. Anyways, I do still think the Thunder will beat the Nuggets. I would love to see the Nuggets get it done, but they're going to have excellent games from everybody. But if the Nuggets beat the Thunder, I think, like, the Thunder take care of the Timberwolves relatively easily. Like, probably, I don't know, 6 games max. The Nuggets could go 7 with the Timberwolves, and you could talk me into the Timberwolves beating them. And I still think that the Thunder Nuggets are the 2 best teams of the West. But once again, it's like you put Gobert on Jokic, slowing him down, right? I mean, it's the same. They beat him in the playoffs last year in 7 games. Would I take the Nuggets to win? Absolutely. But you could talk me into how the Timberwolves could win. Whereas the Timberwolves play the Thunder, you can't talk me into that. That's not happening. The Thunder are going to beat the Timberwolves. So that's an interesting piece. Let's talk about the Bucks. Anyone who has listened to this podcast for a very long time knows that there was a long period there where my favorite NBA player, and I think this is my favorite athlete in general, was Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. Still love Giannis. I don't think he's... he might be top 10 now. I still like him. Maybe he's top 5. Is he really top 5 for me? I don't know. Cade's taking big. A lot of my favorite players anymore are just the Pistons guys. I really like this team, but I would say Giannis is probably still up there. He might be still top 5 in favorites. Jokic is just like my favorite right now, just period. He's the easy choice. I just like watching him the most. I want to see him win more. It's pretty easy, but Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been in trade talks since basically the day he won an MVP. People have wanted him out of Milwaukee. It's a small market. The media wants to see him somewhere else. I was stoked when they won that 2021 finals. If you're like a newer listener, you can go back. I think it's episode 14 titled Yes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm probably... Okay, what episode is it number? 14, episode 14, Yes. And it's Giannis holding the finals MVP trophy. For 1 year, Giannis was the picture for the Sort of Sports podcast. For a long time there. Giannis was the profile picture. Then it became Shake Milton for a period. And then, who was it this fall? Before we made it Bryce. Oh, it was Jokic. Yeah, Jokic. When Jokic won the finals, it became Jokic. I had to think about it. That was really bad. And so then now it's Bryce, and it'll probably be Bryce for a very long time. But, big Giannis fan. I was so stoked when we won the finals because it was like finally they can stop trying to deal this guy to Golden State. They can stop trying to put this guy on other teams. And here we are again. Now, I must say, I think you go back in time to the Bucks when they made the Damian Lillard move, they probably still try it. They're like, you know what? This was the right move at the time. And I thought it was the right move at the time. It wasn't. Right? They've gotten to the point where they're an old team, not a lot of depth. Damian Lillard is good. He's not as great as he used to be. And you've got Giannis, who is definitively the second best player in the NBA in my mind. Like, it's not, I think it's pretty clearly Jokic, Giannis, and then Shea or Luka, 3-4. Based off what we saw from Luka in the playoffs, it's honestly Shea 3. Luka 4. And then 5, I'd put Jason Tatum. I know people like to hate on him, but he is very good. He did play terrible last night, though. He did not play well. So, and there's that point. But, yeah, I'd also that factors into the Wemby being the best player in the NBA. You'd have to leap by Giannis, and Giannis has just been doing crazy stuff. I mean, the fact he only has 2 MVPs is crazy, but it's not like he's been robbed. Jokic has been better. It's just what Giannis has been doing is really impressive. Go look up Giannis's basketball reference page. It's very impressive. Like, Giannis has been excellent for a long time, and he's a top 10 defender every year in my mind. And he can guard pretty much 1 through 5. Like, he's supremely talented. But first round exit last year, first round exit this year, first round exit in 2023, second round exit in 2022. At some point, it's over, right? And I really wanted him to be one of those guys who stayed with his team the entire way, because I think it adds something to your career, right? If you said guy plays for one team his whole career, wins 2 rings, or a guy who wins 4 rings but plays for 3 different teams, there's an argument for the guy that just played for the same team his whole career and won 2 rings. There really is, because it's impressive. I mean, you look at somebody like Kevin Durant, his legacy is just completely messed up. Completely messed up. Nobody really cares about the Warriors rings. Yeah, it's weird. Kevin Durant's 2-time NBA champion. You never think about him like that, though. You don't. Because he's went to so many teams, it just doesn't matter now. Suns are his 4th team. He's going to go to a 5th team this summer. And, let's say KD does win a finals now. He's not going to be the best player on it. His career is just completely messed up. His legacy is screwed. Basically what we thought we were going to be looking back on with KD is what we got with Curry. I mean, you think about it, Curry has 1 more MVP, but he's got 2 more finals. Everybody, they just kind of associate those finals with Curry and the Warriors more than they do KD. Curry has gotten pretty much the career we thought Kevin Durant would have, of being LeBron's nemesis. And this is, not me saying, KD's ass or anything. It's just, when we look back 10, 15 years, we're going to have some crazy Kevin Durant highlights. We're going to have some crazy numbers. But people are going to talk about Curry more. I think if I asked most people I know are going to say Curry is a better player all time than KD. I just don't think people would have thought that back in even 2017, like right when they were on the same team together. I think, people might be like, KD could still go on, and it's not the way it's went. I mean, if only he would have wore a smaller shoe, right? But that brings us back to the Giannis piece. I really wanted him to play for the Bucks forever, and I think he did want that too. I think he did. I think a lot of the interviews he did, a lot of stuff he was doing, you could tell that he bought. He's bought like land around there. He's signed the Supermax, does a lot of charity work there. Like Giannis very much wanted to be there a long time, but that team is going nowhere, and they have no way to get better because they're not a good team. You take Giannis off that team, it's a bottom 5 roster in the league. But you put them on there, they make the playoffs. And so it's like, what are you really going to do? Because you're not going to get a good enough, like unless you like magically hit on some draft pick at like pick 24, you're never going to go anywhere. And so that's why they're stuck. And I don't want to see Giannis go, but at some point, right? So I think he is probably going to be moved this summer. I think it seems to be he wants out, which I don't think he ever wanted out, but now it's like, I think he's done, and I get it. The scariest scenario possible is that he goes from one small market to the next, and that the Thunder lose to the Nuggets, and then trade. They have all these first-round picks they've stocked up on, and they trade some first-round picks and a couple pieces, and boom, Giannis Antetokounmpo has now joined the Thunder, and that team will probably win around 70 games. I don't think it's an exaggeration. They could probably win. They almost did this year. With Giannis, they definitely do. So then the league's real screwed because then the Thunder are just easily winning the finals next year. Like, it's not even a question. Hopefully he doesn't go to the Thunder. I think there's been some talks for the Spurs. I don't know if the Spurs are interested in making a move that large. Then they have to sacrifice some depth for that. I don't think they're going to. The Lakers are interesting, but I don't know why you would do that. Like, you already need depth. It's it's like holy shit, right? Like LeBron, Giannis, Luka, Austin Reeves, if they could still hold on to him somehow. Like, that's bonkers. It's an NBA 2K team, but this is an NBA 2K. Does that really work? Would that really? No, I don't. Those are all 3 guys I want touching the ball. That's the nice thing about Reeves is Reeves can play more off ball if he wants to. Like, these are all guys I want with high usage rates, so it doesn't work. Like, are you gonna have like Giannis just like cutting to the basket and LeBron just like kind of lobbing it up to him? I mean, that sounds awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if it's really like. I'm sure the Lakers were trying to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I'd like. It would be insane to watch, and the Giannis Lakers jerseys would sell. But I don't know. I just think it's bonkers. What's the ideal Giannis team? The Thunder are the one that makes most sense. And it's like scary because you don't want to see it happen because it would just be like, ugh. But it's the one that makes the most sense, doesn't it? They have the assets. Yeah. I mean, come on. I don't really know. I don't know who's going to get them, but the Thunder are the one that clearly makes most sense. It would be interesting if the Knicks tried to get him. I don't think they will because you'd have to really break up this team you have, which doesn't have much depth to begin with. But it would be really interesting. Very interesting. I don't see the Pistons going after him at all. No. Pistons, I mean, if we're going after anybody, it's Booker, and I think Booker wants to be a Sun for life. So, then there's that. So I guess that was my uninteresting take on Giannis Antetokounmpo's leaving, which is I'm sad and I wish things would have went better for him in the Bucks. And I think he's been incredible since 2019. I mean, he's had 7 seasons, I should say, 6 years, 7 seasons of just being insane. insanely good. And it's not like he was bad in 2018 either, or 17. Like 17 when he won Most Improved Player, that's when he was starting to really cook up. And I mean, he's just been awesome to watch. One of my favorite players to watch. And he's my guy for a long time. I have a Giannis jersey. I don't have a Jokic jersey. I have a Giannis jersey. Even though I like Jokic more now. Like there was a long period there, Giannis was my guy. I had Freak 2s. I had those shoes. So it sucks, but I do think he'll be moving out, which stinks. But all right, let's talk about the Indiana Pacers. So the Pacers are the ones who beat the Bucks in 5 games. And the Pacers might have back-to-back runs to Eastern Conference Finals for a team that, while I think is good, I don't think is like a finals-level team. But the Cavs have injury problems right now. DeAndre Hunter might be out. Darius Garland's hurt. Evan Mobley's hurt. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Mobley, so that's why I'm not, or Garland. I'm not sure if he'll be back or not. But if the Pacers, and the Pacers took game 1 against Cavs, and like, if the Pacers go up against the Celtics again, I think they probably get waxed. And even if they don't, if they somehow squeak their way to the NBA Finals, they're losing to pick any team out of the West right now. Warriors, Timberwolves, Thunder, Nuggets. All of them are beating the Pacers. And this isn't, maybe this is me Pacers hating. Might be a Pacers hater. Potentially. I think this Pacers team's pretty good. I don't think they're winning the finals. Like, Tyrese Halliburton is good. Tyrese Halliburton is not the best player on a championship team. Unless this team becomes like the Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash, because that's like the comp in my mind. Like Tyrese Halliburton could be your best player in a championship team if your team is like 11 men deep and you got like 6 dudes putting up double digits. That's like what you'd have to have. Just like an insanely efficient offense. You run through Tyrese, and it's like, wow, you got to watch out for everybody here. Like, you got to watch out for Pascal over here. Andrew Nembhard always rises in the playoffs. Like, this is, whoa. And that's kind of what they did against Bucks, right? Like, that's the type of basketball they're playing. That's the argument for the Pacers making the finals. But could you imagine, like, you're sitting there, and it's like, the NBA Finals on ABC, and it's Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers against, like, Jokic, or the Thunder, or Anthony Edwards, or Steph Curry. Like, any of those 4, it's just like, you're kind of looking at it and you're like, what? I'm sure there's Pacers fans that are amped. Good for you guys, but like, come on, man. Like, come on. I just don't think the Pacers are that good. Like, what are we doing? They beat the Bucks in 5 games, which is crazy. Maybe I should give the Pacers more credit. I'm not giving the Pacers more credit. I think they lose to the Celtics easily. If the Cavs somehow blow this to the Pacers, they will get waxed by the Celtics. There's no question in my mind. They got waxed by them last year. Like, that's, I tried to talk myself into the Pacers last year. It did not work. So, come on. No. It's a very weird team. They should almost always just wear their alternate uniforms, though. Those yellow ones that say Indiana, that's their best jersey. Like, I'm anti-city, but I'm pro those jerseys. Those aren't cities. Those are just alternates, and that's like their best jersey. Are their standards still the ones that say Indiana Pacers with the circle around the chest? Like, if I go to Fanatics right now, and I go to the Pacers, is that what it's going to show me? Is that genuinely still what they're rocking? Because if so, that's just like insane. Because I feel like I never seen them in that. Yeah, because, okay, here we go. So I'm going to the jersey section of Fanatics. City jersey, alternate, then their regulars. Yeah, I just feel like I never see them wear those. If I Google Tyrese Halliburton, what do you think the first jersey he'll be in for the images? Because I'm willing to bet it's the city or the alt. Here we go. Oh, never mind. It's the standard with the circle around. That's just not a good look. The alternate's great. That yellow jersey is really nice. And then it's got the lining on the side. That's really fun. Just rebrand the whole, like, get the whole set to look like that. I mean, you're essentially just doing the, like, Paul George era jerseys again, but those were great. So Pacers actually have an underrated, like, uniform kit. Like, back in, like, Their 90s uniforms are good. The one, you know what I'm talking about? And their 2000s ones with the pinstripes. Those are awesome too. Like, can we do that again? Like, just do those. Would the pinstripes still work? Probably. Bring back the Jermaine O'Neal Pacers unis. They're the Jermaine O'Neal Pacers in my mind. I played a lot of NBA Live 05, and Jermaine O'Neal was a unit. It's the Reggie Miller Pacers of the 90s. He was still on the team in 2000s, but that team is the Jermaine O'Neal Pacers to me. Now, to most people, it's probably maybe Ron Artest. Yeah, it's probably Ron Artest, right? Yeah, so, that'd be my best guess. To me, it's the Jermaine O'Neal Pacers, baby. Oh man. I think that's enough NBA talk. We're gonna end on Jermaine O'Neal Pacers. All in all, I do still think the Thunder beat the Nuggets. I think the Timberwolves beat the Warriors. I got the Celtics over Knicks, and I still have the Cavs winning. But if the Pacers take Game 2, that's it. Wraps. Pacers somehow are going back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. It's just, yeah, that's it for playoffs. Next week, we are announcing the NBA Draft Lottery. I'm going to be recording the episode and putting it out on Tuesday once again because I cannot wait to see who they have win it. I do think it's going to be the Wizards. Or you're like, Ryan, you saying it like this because it's probably rigged? I think it probably is. I do wholeheartedly believe that the NBA Draft Lottery is most likely rigged, at least in years where it really matters. And this one feels one that matters, right? So I see the Wizards winning, Captain America, American flag. The nicknames write themselves for Mr. Cooper. I would love to see the Chicago Bulls win it. I think that would be the most fun. Cooper Flag seems like a guy who really wants pressure on him. Like, he really wants it. And if he goes to the Wizards and averages 15 a game, Wizards fans are going to be like, oh my gosh, he's so good, blah, 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 and they'll be super pumped. If he went to Chicago and averaged 15 a game, these guys would be like, oh, we thought this dude was supposed to be good. What the hell is he doing? What are we serious? This guy's supposed to be our next guy? He put up 15 a game as a rookie. He should be doing more than that. We should, you know what I mean? We should be making the play. If he went to the Bulls and they didn't make not the playoffs, pure playoffs, not just playing, pure playoffs, 6 seed or better, I think not all Bulls fans, but a decent amount would be pissed. They're like, really, we got the number 1 pick, this hyped up prospect, and we weren't a top 6 team in the East when we were in the play-in last year? Are you serious? That's what I'm trying to say. So I would love to see Cooper Flag go there because I think that pressure from the Bulls fans would be awesome because I think he's the type of guy that rises to the pressure. Wizards fans are just going to be like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Because, they did a survey on NBA Reddit one time, and they figured out that they did, every team's most hated team. And so they did, the first and the second. So, for example, the Lakers, their number 1 most hated team, I think, was the Celtics. Well, not I think. Obviously, it was the Celtics. And then 2, I think, was the Warriors when they did this. It was a couple of years ago. And the Wizards were the only NBA team that their second most hated team was themselves. So the Wizards fans just have a rough go. It sounds like a joke. Completely real. So it would be great for the Wizards to get Cooper Flag. Don't get me wrong. It would be great for them, and the NBA could try to market them that the NFL is going to do Jaden Daniels, and that gives the NBA a team that has nothing going for it, and now immediately makes it so they can be on Christmas Day, right? And it's a team that I think actually has some talent to it. I think him and Jordan Poole would play off each other quite nicely, actually. So I think it's fun if he goes to the Wizards. And I think the Wizards are the team. I do think they need to rebrand the jerseys. We've had this design for way too long. These were the designs when John Wall was there. And I love John Wall, but we need to get a new design because these are the John Wall era jerseys, and we need a new era for Cooper Flag. So that would be my thought. You can keep the red, white, and blue color scheme, even though the Gilbert Arenas era jerseys were better, but it's whatever. Chicago would be so fun, though, for Cooper. Could you imagine how stoked Chicago would be? It would be so fun. It would be so fun. I want to see it, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to. They're gonna probably do Washington. I've seen people say Charlotte. I don't see it. I don't know. The Duke thing. I think the NBA has shown before they do not care if a North Carolina or a Duke guy goes to the Hornets. It doesn't matter to them. It just doesn't. So, no, that's my thought. All right. Let's talk about Thunderbolts. Right? I want to talk about Thunderbolts. So, Thunderbolts, a movie that when it was announced, I thought, why? Why are they making this? Who is this for? And then I went to the theater and it hit me. They made it for them. That's when I realized it was a good movie. I guess I should explain what this means. I feel like Marvel's gotten a bad habit of making movies because they feel like they should. Where it's, well, yeah, we should probably make another Ant-Man. Oh, well, we need some new characters. Shang-Chi will work. Well, we should probably make Black Panther 2. And this isn't me saying all his movies are terrible. Some people really like Black Panther 2. I really don't. Some people really like Shang-Chi. I think the first half of that movie's awesome. And then when he goes into another dimension, the movie falls off a cliff for me. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, I don't think I have to explain. Or like Thor, Love and Thunder, right? Like, oh, we should probably make a Thor movie. So then they did. And it's just not very good. Whereas Thunderbolts, no one was asking for this. Nobody wanted a Thunderbolts movie. At least nobody I know. But they wanted to make it. And so for once we got a movie where they're not making it because they feel like they should or the fans want it. They're making it because they have an interesting story they want to tell us. And that's something Marvel hasn't done in a long time. Like, it used to be like that, right? We're making a Black Panther movie. Oh, a little surprise, that's the hero we're introducing now. But yeah, it's not, you're making a Black Panther movie because you have a story you want to tell us. And then they did, and Black Panther's incredible. Like, one of the best MCU movies. It's like, oh, we're going to make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Really? Nobody wants this. But then it was great because James Gunn had a story he really wanted to tell us. And also, these had these directors, and Ryan Coogler and James Gunn, who had stories they wanted to tell us and had an interesting take on the characters. I can't tell you the last time we had a Marvel movie that did that. Like, this was... I'm just going to say, this is the easy review. If you're driving right now, and you're like, oh yeah, I thought about seeing that Thunderbolts movie, and you're listening to me ramble on, this is the easiest review I can give you. This is the best Marvel movie since Endgame that is wholly original. What I mean by that is, Deadpool and Wolverine obviously is a sequel to previous Deadpool movies. And, for the most part. You know what I mean? And then Spider-Man No Way Home obviously has connections to other movies. And then, I guess, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 obviously is the third one of the Guardians of the Galaxy series. Those are the three movies I think one could argue are better than this movie. But as far as every other MCU movie since Endgame, it's been some sort of original brand, right? Black Widow, you could argue, isn't fully original because, she showed up in other things. But I'm saying Shang-Chi, what else is original? Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, obviously wouldn't count. But I'm saying, out of the stuff they made that's completely original, like Eternals, Shang-Chi, I'll give a half point to the Marvels. Am I forgetting anything? What came out in 2022? Oh my gosh, what Marvel movie came out in 2022? What am I forgetting? Oh goodness, this is bad. I can name you every Marvel movie's release year from the Infinity Saga. Some of them I can name you the date. But I cannot, for the life of me right now, tell you what Marvel movies came out in 2022. That's how rough the Multiverse Saga has been on me, who is a massive fan. Oh, Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, that movie's pretty good. I was very high on it at the time. You want to go back and listen to my review of that? I was stoked. And over time, I've kind of, I don't know. It's one of those movies where it's like half the movie I really like when it's like Sam Raimi having fun, and then the other half that's like a Marvel movie's not good. Oh yeah, so it was Doctor Strange and Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, and then Wakanda Forever in the fall. Well, none of those were wholly original, but this movie was great. Yeah, it was great. This felt like old Marvel, where it was like, hey, we got a interesting story for you using these characters, and you're interested, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And it was great. I can tell you this. I'm sitting there in the theater. The logo starts playing, and the dum bum 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 bum. That's going on, right? And they do something special with the logo. I wasn't expecting that. And I'm sitting there, and I turned to my roommate who I saw with, and I was like, oh, they got something with this one. You don't just do that to do that. Like you'll know it when you see it. You're like, oh, okay. Like, this movie's got some sauce. And the guy who directed this, I think his name was Jake Schreier, I want to say. He worked on Beef, that Netflix show that I didn't watch, but I heard pretty good things about. Guy killed it. There is an opening scene, like the first 5 minutes, and where Yelena, Florence Pugh's character, is fighting people, and they use the shadows in interesting ways. And I'm like, oh, this is a really cool way to shoot this. This has like some visual flair. This is really cool. And then about an hour and a half later in the movie, I'm like, oh, that was like an allusion to this imagery we get later. That was like really cool how they did that. That is so sick. I can't tell you the last Marvel movie that did something like that. That was awesome. And some people are saying it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame. I think there's an argument for that. To me, I think the best one's probably Guardians Volume 3. But, I mean, there's a real argument for this. This was really good. And I'm stoked for Fantastic Four. You guys know that. I'm really hoping that Superman can hit my incredibly high expectation. And I really hope people go and see Superman. I was in the theater and the Superman trailer played, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this movie. Like, I'm so stoked for that. I probably never been more excited for a movie in my life, but I'm now at the stage of excitement where I'm so excited for it, I'm honestly scared. What if it's not as good as I want it to be? Whew. Within a month of the release, I'll be turned around and then I'll just be super stoked again. But right now I'm in the, oh wait, what if stage. But Fantastic Four looks excellent. And I think Marvel might be back, boys. Marvel might be back. It's just, because like I thought Fantastic Four was going to be their big, hey, we're back department. I'd like to file movie, but it might have been this. It's just surprising, which is only going to make Fantastic Four bigger, because this is doing very well, like really well, money-wise. If Thunderbolts, a movie in which I am willing to bet 70 to 80%, if not higher, of the people who have seen it have no concept of what that name actually means comic book wise. And also in the movie, it's not what it means in the comics. Like, they make it about something completely different. Like they are using it in name only. If Thunderbolts makes like 600 million, 700 million plus, like, whoa. Like, what is Fantastic Four going to do? A brand that actually has some recognition power, and a movie that I think is going to be even better than this. I think that Fantastic Four movie is going to be absurdly good. I really do. I think I'm honestly scared. Are people still going to show up for Superman? The nice thing is Superman is coming out before it, so my hope is everybody shows up for Superman. But like, obviously Marvel has stronger branding right now than DC, and I just gotta hope old Supes can get it done. But regardless of that, a lot of positive buzz behind this movie, and it's really good. Like, it's really good. Now, the interesting thing to me is about it doing so well is, so I was in the theater, and we start walking into our row, and at the end was like a mom and her two kids, and they were probably like, I don't know, I'm not good at guessing people's ages, especially like, because like I'm not around like that many like kids, you know what I mean? So like I have like no real concept of like what kids look at, you know what I mean? Like what like I don't know what really the difference between like a 12-year-old looks like and an 8-year-old. You get what I'm saying? Like I just not. I'm sure if you're a dad who has like two kids that age, it's very easy for you to like. I don't know. The two kids, they're both older than 6. I can tell you that. You know, well, neither of them were teenagers, but neither of them were like little either. They're right in between, right? That's my best guess. Like probably like, I don't know. We're just gonna say they're like fourth graders, okay? And I'm sitting there in the theater and watching this movie, and I'm like, if I'm a fourth grader, what is the pitch for me to come to this movie? I was thinking about this because the first MCU movie I ever saw, I remember seeing in theaters. I think it released April 2nd. If I'm not, I have to look this up. If I just nailed that, I'm really proud of myself. First one I ever saw was Captain America Winter Soldier. Did this release April 2nd, 2014? Please tell me it did. Please tell me it did. Please tell me it did. I really want to be right on this. April 4th. No! Damn it. Anyways. Took one of my best friends, my old buddy Merrick, and Merrick and I went to see Captain America: The Winter Soldier together. It was the first MCU movie I saw in theaters. I was so pumped. Little I know, I was seeing one of the best MCU movies. I remember that theater experience so clearly. Went to my favorite movie theater. That was actually one of the first movies I ever remember seeing in that theater. A theater that I've gone on to. It's the theater I've went to the most in my life, easily. I think it's probably when it started becoming my favorite theater to go to. And I went there so much in high school that they like knew me. Like I walked in, they were like, "Hey, what'd you think of that last one you saw?" Like that's how much I went to that theater. Like my friends could walk in, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Ryan's sitting here," and they just like give them their tickets next to me. But I can remember when I took a bathroom break watching Winter Soldier. That's like how clearly I remember that theater experience. It's the scene where Robert Redford is revealed to be a bad guy in Winter Soldier. I remember taking the bathroom break then. I remember coming back mid-scene, and my mom turns over to me and is like, "Hey, like, this is what's going on." And I was like, "Oh, good tip." Was that the time I ate Donatos with Merrick? Might have been. Anyways, I remember, you're laughing because you're like, how does he remember all this? I do. I remember that very clearly. Winter Soldier is excellent. Merrick and I at one point went and ate like Donatos before a movie. I just remember that very clearly, but I think that was later in life. It was a different Marvel movie we saw together. Saw a lot of Marvel movies together, me and Mare. But I remember like the pitch to me then, because I would have been 9 when that was out, right? That's about a good age to start watching all Marvel movies. I feel like Star Wars you can do a little younger, because Star Wars is a little scary, I must say. But like, I don't know, sometimes it's good to have a little bit of scary, right? You have a little scary, E.T. was a little scary to me when I was a little kid, but like, yeah, a little bit. Like you can't be showing your kids like really scary shit, right? Like no, you don't want to like traumatize your kid, but like a little bit of Scooby-Doo, right? A little bit of fun spook. It's a good time, Don't be showing your kid like, even though I think that movie's hilarious, but like if I watched Scream at a young age, it would have scared the shit out of me. I watched it for the first time at the age of 19. I'm like, oh, this movie's pretty gas. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference. But also like you do you. If you're listening to this and you're like, well, shit, I showed my kids Scream. Don't worry about it. I don't have children, so it's my opinion is somewhat invalid, but but anyways, this has been a long aside. I was thinking about when I went to go see, Captain America, and I'm thinking, okay, when I was 9 years old, I was stoked to see Captain America. And I remember sitting there seeing the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, and I didn't even realize it was a Marvel movie until at the end when it had the Marvel logo. And I was just like, I remember thinking, I was like, I don't care to see that. Like, I don't know any of these guys. Like, I was basically kind of like, who the hell are these guys? I don't want to watch a movie with them in it, right? And I was thinking about that with this kid, the Thunderbolts. I'm like, what's the sales pitch for Thunderbolts? Like, you a big Red Guardian fan? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really like John Walker, the U.S. agent. I don't think you call him U.S. agent in this. Like, who are the kids into in Thunderbolts? I think my best guess is, like, dead ass, like, Winter Soldier. And probably a big piece of that is Marvel Rivals. I'm not even playing around. Like, that's the armed and dangerous guy. I'm like only half kidding. Is that the pitch? I don't know, I just thought it was wild. I was like, this movie's doing very well, and I'm sure people are taking their kids to go see it because it's a Marvel movie. But also, like, the movie's kind of adult. Like, the whole movie is kind of about these characters working through, like, their regrets in their life. And, like, I don't know, if I say it like it's a Marvel movie about these characters working through their trauma, that makes it sound like it's going to be like really like, and it's not like really like, I don't know how to word it, oh, like I don't know how to explain it, but because I pitch it to you like that, then it's not exactly what it is. But these are a lot of characters that have like regrets, like they're like assassins, and they're like, yeah, my life's pretty messed up because I've been an assassin my whole life. Like my like there's some pretty intense shit here, and like it's pretty like it's not shown openly, but it's pretty heavily implied that like one of the characters was like beat by his father. And it's like, this is pretty heavy stuff. And I'm not saying you can't show like a 13-year-old it, but I'm thinking if I was 9, I'd kind of be like, well, damn, that was a pretty heavy movie. Oh, maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe if I was 9, I'd be like, this movie's awesome. I just ignore the parts when they're like, man, I've been an assassin ever since I was a child. This is sad. I'd just be like, it's awesome when Red Guardian rolls up. Because I love Red Guardian. Maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, Marvel like made one for the adults, not like Deadpool. That's a different level of adult. Deadpool actually, the peak age to watch Deadpool is like 17, which isn't really adult. Like I would say like 16. That's not adult. That's like the peak age to watch the Deadpool movies, I would say. Because I watched Deadpool movies a little too late. Like I watched them a little too late, and I was like, yeah, I guess this is fine. And I really like Deadpool and Wolverine, but I think I would like it a lot more if I was like 15, 16. That's like the ideal age. It's kind of like Ferris Bueller. Like if you don't watch Ferris Bueller like before you're like a junior in high school, it's never going to be as good. I was very lucky to watch Ferris Bueller. I actually watched Ferris Bueller a little later in life than probably most, but it was probably like my freshman or sophomore year. Like I was in high school watching it. And I was like, this is awesome. Because if you're the same age as Ferris, it actually doesn't work as well. You got to be a little younger because then you look up to him and you want to be like him. That's like the ideal age. And then you can kind of carry that out the rest of your life, right? As long as you watch it for the first time at that age, it works. That's why I feel like I watched Pulp Fiction at the perfect age. And I think I watched Pulp Fiction right when I was right before I turned 17, I want to say. That's like perfect age. 16 years old, about to turn 17. Oh yeah, that's like prime Pulp Fiction age. I don't know if it's the most appropriate, but that's like you're gonna like it the most at that point. Tarantino's that's like the ideal, like mid high school, early college is like the ideal time to get into Tarantino. I feel like. I'm sure there's gonna be like probably when I'm 40, I'm gonna be like, man, Paul Thomas Anderson, I really get it now. Like that's probably how it'll be. That's what I foresee. We'll have to see if I'm still cutting the Sort of Sports podcast that age. Man, have I gotten off topic in this last half hour? It's gonna be a long episode because I still got more Thunderbolts thoughts to give. The Thunderbolts is good. Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know what to say other than that. I was just thinking about that in the theater. I was like, what is the pitch if you're a kid here? Because this is like made for like who's Thunderbolts made for? Honestly, like it's not the most me movie ever made. I do want to state, like most Marvel movies, they're just lobbing it up for me, and I'm just like, hell yes, hell yes, hell yes, just slamming it in. This one, like, wasn't exactly like direct. Like some of the stuff they're doing, I'm like, oh, it's not a choice I would have went with this, but that works. But it was good. I think there's gonna be people that this is their favorite Marvel movie, and that's really fun because it's good. I think it's really good. It's old school Marvel where it's like, hey, like this is good. I don't know how to explain it other than that. I would say it's about as good as the first Ant-Man, and I know some people don't really like that movie, but like if the first Ant-Man came out for let's say erase history, right? Everything in the MCU is the same except for the fact Ant-Man doesn't exist, which doesn't really work because he was actually an integral part of Infinity War, not Infinity War, but an integral part of Endgame. It's just funny, but let's say like Ant-Man came out tomorrow, that movie would be like huge because people were just searching for some good MCU content. When at the time it came out, it was like, oh, this one's kind of whatever. It's like, yeah, but they were also like performing at such a high clip. Like we kind of took the MCU for granted for a while there. Like we were just like expecting every movie to be gas, and they kind of were. Like in 2017, they released Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Thor Ragnarok. I think the worst one of those is Guardians Volume 2. Guardians Volume 2, still gas. Like, if you were like, yeah, let's watch Guardians Volume 2 tonight, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great. That was the type of clip they're rolling out. In 2018, they put out Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Panther, Infinity War. Easily the worst one there is Ant-Man and the Wasp. That movie's not bad. That movie's still pretty good. Like, that's an incredible clip from them. Do gotta say, the standout performance in this movie is easily Lewis Pullman. He was Bob in Top Gun Maverick, and he's also Bob in this. I don't know if it's really a spoiler to say who he is. So I guess I'll just ignore it for now. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll talk about it in the future. But this episode, I won't spoil exactly who he is. But, like, I knew who he was going in. But I also, like, read comics and stuff like that. And pretty on top of this type of stuff. But it, like, wasn't that hidden. Kind of like the title being changed hasn't been that hidden. But whatever. I'll leave it. I won't say anything. But Lewis Pullman, didn't think you had this type of performance in you? Based off what I saw in Top Gun Maverick. Son of Bill Pullman, like the president from Independence Day. And it was really good. And I was like, hey, let's get this guy in some rom-coms. Like, that's what I see you doing. Do some, like, little rom-coms. That could be fun. I like Lewis Pullman. Maybe he wants to be an action star. Maybe. I got to see that from you. But I didn't see that from you here. I saw a rom-com guy. And I think it could be really fun. So, Lewis Pullman, you're the one coming out of this. So I'm like, you're a winner. Like, you did good in this, and I'm impressed, and I want to see you in more stuff. So Lewis Pullman, great work. That's a standout. I mean, David Harbour's great in his role. I think if Lewis Pullman was a bigger name, I would be like, oh man, David Harbour. But a lot of what David Harbour's doing is like, he's got, the way they write Red Guardian in this is great. Like, they really write him, like they wrote Red Guardian really well, and he's super fun in it. So it's kind of like a team between like the writers and David Harbour kind of being like, hey, like, we're going to make this super fun. And he has a great time with that role. And Florence Pugh obviously does really well as Yelena, but it's like, I don't need to tell you that Florence Pugh is good. You know that. So that's why I'm not like, but yeah, this movie is hinged around Black Widow's sister that most people don't know the name of. And like I said, it might make $600 million. That's insane. And so, like, a testament to everybody on this cast, because the biggest names, obviously, Florence Pugh. And props to her, because she does a really good job in this movie. This movie was pleasantly awesome. And it was starting to get scary because, like, I had thought when the first trailer came out, that looks kind of good. And then the second trailer came out, and I was like, that still looks kind of good. Huh. I might have to see that in theaters. And then within the last month or so, everyone kind of agreed with me. And the reviews came pouring in, and it's apparently so good, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, well, now I'm a little scared because I already was kind of waiting to be surprised by this. Now I'm not going to be surprised. Like, people are hyping this up. They're saying it's, one of the best Marvel movies since Endgame, if not the best. Oh boy, here we go. And then it lived up to the expectation. That was pretty awesome. So, yeah, it was a good old-fashioned Marvel movie. Let's go, baby. Am I still terrified that Secret Wars and Doomsday will just be a massive cameo fest? Yes. Am I 100% stoked for the X-Men to be in the MCU? Yes. Do I believe that when the X-Men come to the MCU, they should be the main focus, and like, if you make 10 movies, maybe only 2 or 3 of them shouldn't be X-Men focused? Yes, I think once the X-Men are in the MCU, like, the X-Men should basically just run the show for a decent amount of time. My biggest fear is that when they do Secret Wars, they're going to reset the universe, because you have to have the X-Men in it from the jump. Like, Magneto has to be like Magneto has to be during World War II. Like, it has to, like, intrinsic to his character. That, he is a young Jewish boy during World War II and everything, obviously, that goes with that. And I'm just terrified of, like, well, we reset the universe, and now, Glenn Powell's Iron Man. And I love Glenn Powell. You guys know that's my guy. But, like, no. I don't want new Iron Man movies with a new actor. And it's like, oh, well, we can now do more Iron Man because we reset the universe. But I'm afraid that's what it's going to be, right? Because we still have so many characters in the Marvel Universe that they can tap into. Especially the X-Men. Like, the X-Men are their whole thing. Like, you could do so much with just the X-Men. You don't need to reset the whole shebang. And I'm afraid that's what they're going to do. I really am. We will see. Bit pessimistic today from me, I do want to say. I'm usually pretty optimistic. I think the reason I'm pessimistic with Marvel, though, is because of, like, I've been disappointed. I mean, I was there in Eternals opening weekend, and that movie sucked. Like, if you would have told me in 2018, you know, in 2023 there'll be 2 Marvel movies released, you won't go to either of them in theaters, nor watch them, like, ever, I'd be like, no. There's no way. There's no way. I'm a massive fan of those movies. I read the comics, like, I'm a massive Marvel guy. Like, no. But I did not go see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and I did not go see the Marvels. I had no interest. Probably watch them eventually. Maybe. I don't know. And I think I would consider myself a very big fan of these movies, and so it's kind of big that they pushed, like, I think there's probably a decent amount of fans like me that kind of, you know, went away. And that's what the MCU's got to regain, and I want them to be good. I really do. I'm just very scared over this Doomsday and Secret Wars thing. Now, I will be going both those movies regardless. That's a done deal. But I think between the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, you could literally just make movies of them and Spider-Man, and you could be set. You don't really need to do anything else. Like, you could literally just make it so in the new universe, the Avengers don't exist, and then they pop back up at some point. I don't know how exactly you write that, but I mean it. Like, I don't know. I think they're going to do a full-scale reset, and I just... Not stoked. I'm scared. I'm just a little scared on that one. It's like, oh, well, now, you know, it's Glenn Powell probably Captain America, not Iron Man. I do want to state. That just hit me. It's probably who would be Iron Man? Who could be Iron Man? Timothy Chalamet. I don't know who would be Iron Man. It's just Robert Downey Jr. Like like do this exercise for yourself. Picture someone else as Iron Man for me. That's hard. Like it is Robert Downey Jr. I mean, they've literally wrote the comic Iron Man lately more like his interpretation of the movies. Like, it's the definitive Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr.'s take on the character. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes, but I also have large reservations. That's the mix. Yeah. Now, DC, on the other hand, I just have full faith. Their stuff's going to be good. Superman, I'm, like, so pumped for, guys. I think it's just going to be incredible. And I just want to say, like, if we're doing, I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe doing, like, a summer movies draft next episode where I'm going to guess what's going to be the big hits of the summer. I think that'd be a good time. Now, one could argue it's already started with Thunderbolts, but I would like to start, like, right about Memorial Day weekend and then go all the way to, like, August-ish. That's what I would like to do. I think that's what we do next episode, because I think F1 is going to be huge. I think that movie is going to rock. Joseph Kosinski, the director of Top Gun Maverick, he basically is just making Top Gun Maverick with cars. That's basically what it is. Brad Pitt's the lead. I mean, you're in. I'm in. Are you in? Like, you should be in. That movie, look up the trailer when you get home. It looks, or if you're watching this, if you watch this, just me talking to you, I mean, I appreciate it, but, you know, you should be watching the F1 trailer instead. I guess F1 trailers look incredible. Yeah, pump for that. Good night. That movie looks great. Yeah, maybe we'll do that next episode. I don't know if it's not like an excitement ranking. It's what I think is going to make the most money, just for funsies. I think it'd be fun. All right, last piece. This morning, the GTA 6 trailer dropped. Just wanted to give quick thoughts. I think we're getting like a true romance narrative because we're going to have like 2 playable characters and it's going to be this couple, and I just think that sounds awesome. Like, true romance is great, and Rockstar doing a true romance narrative I think can be really fun. What if the last mission you get to choose which one of them dies? I mean, that'd be heartbreaking, but that would be very Rockstar, wouldn't it? Like, that'd be very on brand. Or maybe they both die. I don't think you can do it like that. Like a Romeo and Juliet, that'd be great that was an option, but because then you just take it. But it's like, well, then who do you play as at the end, right? Like, who's the new playable character? Because then it's like a John Marston situation. But it's a fun idea, isn't it? Maybe that's what they do. Maybe that'd be pretty cool. Game doesn't come out for over a year, though, so I'm pumped for that. I think it's going to be great, but Grand Theft Auto 6, new trailer looks great, and I think we're getting, like I said, True Romance style, Bonnie and Clyde in Miami, which is just going to be sick. Also, just classic Rockstar humor. So, like, the NFL, like, because they don't ever do the brands, right? Like, they always do fake versions of the brands, which just opens up for more commentary and more funniness, right? Like, it's not Miami, it's Vice City. It's not New York, it's Liberty City. Their version of the Miami Dolphins are the Vice City Manatees. And then the funny one, though, is the Vice City Narcos instead of the Heat. And the logo, instead of being a basketball with flames coming off of it, it's a basketball with lines of cocaine flying off of it, which is just, like, the top tier. It's hilarious. I've always been more of a Red Dead Redemption guy than GTA. Massive Red Dead Redemption 2 fan. I had one of the greatest video game Christmases of all time in 2018, in which I received Last of Us Remastered, Red Dead Redemption 2, and God of War. I think someone can make an argument for why each singular one of those games is the best game of all time. And I got them all one Christmas. It was an incredible Christmas. I remember beating them all within the following, 6 months, I want to say. No, I think it was about 3-4 months. Well, I didn't beat Red Dead until 363 days later. I remember I beat it on December 23rd, 2019. But I remember I played Red Dead Redemption 2 off rip. I remember Christmas morning, I literally brought it out of the package, put it in, and started playing it. Now, the secret to that is that my mother did me a favor, and my mom let me load up all of the, you know what I mean? Because Red Dead 2 is so huge, you have to have the data disc. She let me load it up and then wrapped the gift for me. So then on Christmas morning, I could just slide the disc in and play immediately. Thank you to her on that one. That was an excellent call. Because I still remember playing Red Dead Redemption 2 Christmas morning, and I beat the entire prologue. I will never forget that. I beat, I just mainlined the prologue for 2.5 hours. And my whole family was getting ready for Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And I just put my clothes on that I was wearing that day and just played Redemption 2. And I got out of the prologue, and I remember I just walked out of camp. First guy I saw, just bang, shot him, fell to the ground. And it was you can't kill people this close to camp. I was oh, this is crazy. Because I was just this is the most crazy. Because I never played Red Dead Redemption 1. I saw so much about 2 that I was really interested in then. One of my favorite games ever. It's incredible. Red Dead Redemption 2, truly a special game. But God of War also was awesome. I started playing that. I remember at the end of winter break, I want to say. I remember coming home from basketball practice, just cranking out some God of War. It was awesome. Still haven't played Ragnarok. It's kind of crazy to think about. Game's 3 years old now. Well, it'll be 3 years old in the fall, but still. They take so long to develop games now anymore, it kind of benefits me because I don't have to rush through playing all the sequels and stuff. So it's it's fine. Yeah, that was an excellent Christmas, I gotta say. And then I remember I started playing Last of Us Remastered at the end of the month because I beat God of War, started up Remastered, and Red Dead was just the side game. I'd come in and out of Red Dead. Because you can't just mainline Red Dead. You gotta soak it in. I have probably spent real life days of just nothing in Red Dead. And what I mean by nothing is just walking around, talking to people, getting into trouble, trying to rob somebody, trying to rob a train. I love, and I still do this, I just go into Valentine, I get really drunk, I play poker, and then if I lose, I get in a bar fight. The police come get me, I go to jail. it's I've done that many times, but I like to stay at the hotel, and then like I'll just do like I'll get like Arthur a bath, we'll clean up, and then we'll go to Valentine. Yeah, I've done that like a lot, like, especially in like high school. Like it'd be like 11 o'clock on a Saturday, and it would be like you know I hung out with my friends, went back home because I had church the next morning, and I would just play like Red Dead for like 2 hours, just doing that, like just playing poker, going to the bar, getting drunk, like just basically playing as a cowboy, like just having like a little virtual life. It was very fun. It was just fun to do. I enjoyed it. That was always the thing with Red Dead. It's like the story is incredible, but it's the little things like that, right? Like I just had so much fun just being Arthur Morgan in the world, and I think that's what'll make GTA 6 really special if it can be like that too. And I hope it does. I really hope it does, and I have faith that they want to create that type of experience again. I think it's just harder with modern. I do, because it's just inherently less interesting for me to like drive a car and like go take a shower and then go to like a casino. It's just not as cool as when it's like I'm a cowboy and I ride my horse. Like it's just the nature of it. It's not as cool, but still stoked for GTA 6, and I want to see Rockstar make something new after this. I'm sure everybody would like to see that. They're like the game developer, but like it'd be really cool to see them make like something with like knights. Like something like. Wouldn't it be cool if they did something that was like medieval, and not even like I don't want like fantasy. I just want like raw medieval. And then of course they would throw in some like maybe they throw in like vampires or something, just like they did in Red Dead. That'd be really cool. I'd love to see them do that. I don't know. It's whatever they make, I'll buy. But it'd be really cool if that was it. Been playing a lot of Oblivion Remastered. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. That's also like Oblivion. I mean, Bethesda games aren't on anywhere near the level of Rockstar games, but there is some of that when I play Oblivion, where I'm like I'm running around and I'm meeting people. And hey, we heard about this guy who's a vampire hunter in town. Is the key to these games is making vampires, and maybe that's the key, making a fun game. But they're like, oh, we heard this vampire hunter, and then I do that quest, or then I learn about these Knights of the Nine. Because I didn't know the DLC was packaged in with Oblivion. So, like, I have fun in Oblivion. Just, like, you just kind of walk around, you talk to people, and then they end up giving you quests. And you're like, yeah, I'll do that. And, like, I'm involved in the Fighters Guild. I killed somebody on accident. Like, I killed this dude. Like, we were, like, in the Oblivion Gate together. And I was trying to fight this, like, little goblin. And I accidentally killed him. And he was, like, he died. And it was, like, a dark something sees you. And then I get, like, met in my, like, I wake up from sleep one day. And this like dude like invites me to join this like dark brotherhood, and I don't know if I can do that because like I completed this quest where I became a crusader, and I like have all these like holy armor, like I have this holy armor of like a crusader. I don't know if I'm allowed to join the dark brotherhood in that, but I'm gonna try it. It might make it so I'm not allowed to wear my crusader armor anymore, which sucks, but I'm interested to join the Dark Brotherhood. I've got like my character. It'd be interesting if I did the Dark Brotherhood and then I did the Crusades, because then it's like, oh, this guy found the light. But I'm just going for like the Anakin Skywalker route, essentially, where it's like I'm the chosen one, and then I just kind of abandon it for the evil side. But that's what's been fun about Oblivion that's like I feel like if you're making an open world game, right? If you're on that next level, awesome. You make something like that where I just want to like have my little virtual life in your world and it's fun. Like that's the appeal of Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing isn't like appealing to me, but I think that's the appeal is it's like you have your own little like virtual life. Now to me, I'm like I can buy chairs and I can buy chairs and talk to my neighbors in real life. I don't need to do it in a video game. Now, fighting vampires and saving the Crusaders' ghosts from their purgatory. I mean maybe I could do that in real life, but I don't know. I don't know how I would even begin to start doing that. Yeah, that's awesome. So I think that's the difference. That's why Red Dead I think is so cool, is because I'm never going to be a cowboy in the 1890s. But because of that game, I've gotten experience like that. And I think that's what's fun about when you really create like a special open world video game. You can give people like a little window, because it's different watching a movie, right? It's fun to watch a movie that's set, and like I think about how much fun I have when I watch Pride and Prejudice, because you get a little window into that world, what it used to be like. But in a video game, you get to experience it. Now, granted, it's through a controller. It's not like it's one-to-one. I think that's part of the appeal of VR games, right? But I think that's why Oblivion is fun because, like I said, Bethesda not on the level of Rockstar when it comes to the immersion, but there is an element of like I'm living in this fantasy world. I'm trotting along with my sword at my side, and it's essentially just a D&D game that's visualized, which is why like D&D is fun, right? Because you're like living this little fictional narrative. It's fun to do that type of stuff, you know. It's like it's like big play and pretend, except now it's this, but D&D is just literally verbally playing pretend. It's just playing pretend without the physicality element. So, it's probably why I enjoy Oblivion so much. And I think about it. It is kind of like, because I like making up little thoughts in my head, like when I'm playing. Like I'm like, oh, my character's doing that. Like just like that, when I said that about, my character's like Anakin Skywalker, he's gonna fall to the dark side. I'm sure not everyone thinks like that when they play the game, but that's what I think of. I'm like, what's my character thinking right now? Because I think that type of stuff's fun. His name is Maximilian. I didn't mean for this to be an advertisement for Oblivion Remastered, but it ended up being that. It's pretty great, though. I mean, it's awesome. People are going nuts with that Claire Obscure game. I'm sure I don't know. It's not for me. I don't care. Oblivion Remastered's the shit. I played Oblivion when I was younger. I got it from GameStop from Xbox 360 for about, I don't know, $5. It was pre-owned. It was like 2014 when I got it. Like it was maybe 2015. I might be over that. Maybe like 2017. Like it'd be like 10 years old the time I got it. It was cheap. Put it in. Started playing it, and I was like, this is super fun. I'd always heard people went nuts about Skyrim, which is obviously the sequel. But I was like, Skyrim, I was always like, yeah, it's fine. Like I played it a couple times at friends' houses. I thought it was pretty cool, but like, I don't know. I never really got into Bethesda games that much. I just felt like if you don't have a good story, I'm never really that interested. And I started playing Oblivion, and I was like, I don't really know what to do, but it's fun. Like I enjoyed like running around. And so when the remaster came out, I was like, oh, that's cool for the people that like it. Like I remember I probably played, 5 hours max when I was younger. But then my roommate was playing it. I was like, I really want to play that. So I got it, and I started playing, and I'm like, wait, this is awesome. And I really like this world. And I think the reason it appealed to me so much more in Skyrim is the world is a lot more Lord of the Rings inspired. And Skyrim's like that Norse, like snowy, cold, almost like reminds me of like Game of Thrones a little bit. And I just don't think that aesthetics is interesting. I don't know. And it's just funny because I really like Norse mythology. I think that stuff's sweet. But like, I just don't like that aesthetic as much. I really like the aesthetic of Oblivion. It's like very high fantasy. Like you feel like the music has to be like, you know what I mean? Like that type of like fiddly stuff. Like it's a type of game like if I dressed up as Robin Hood, it wouldn't look that crazy with the people around me. Whereas like in Skyrim, you would look like an idiot. It's just the way like Skyrim's designed and the art style and the way the world looks. And so Oblivion, I just always, like, even when I was younger and I played it, I just thought Oblivion looked cooler. I just liked Oblivion's vibe more, but I never really played much of either. Honestly, the Bethesda game I played the most when I was younger was New Vegas, which is like outrageous because like that's something against. I don't know. I don't even know if it's nothing against New Vegas. It probably is. I'm just saying, like, it's just outrageous because like I think New Vegas is pretty good, but like if you were like, yo, let's play New Vegas later, I'd be like, eh. Like, as I've gotten older, I don't know. It's been a weird shift in me as of late. And, like, I used to always like sci-fi stuff more than fantasy. But the older I get, I'm just like, it's just way cooler to watch guys fight with swords than with guns. Like, if I'm going to watch guys fight with guns, I'll just watch, like, something modern, right? Like, I'm saying if you're like, hey, we're going to take you in this big fictional world, it's very rare that I'd rather see a laser beam than a sword. You know what I mean? Because I can see guns in most, typical films. Like, obviously it has to be something that has, like, some element of violence to it, but it's very rare you see a sword come out in, like, a movie. That's why it's awesome when it does in Pulp Fiction, right? That's why people like Kill Bill, right? It's because of the sword, right? People like Kill Bill because there's a sword in it. No, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that's a fun element of it, right? it's just funny. The older I've got, more and more, I'm like, I don't know. Like the fantasy is just, I don't know. Fantasy is just. I think I like it more than sci-fi at this point. Fantasy is just cool. Like medieval shit is just cool. So I don't know, maybe I'll watch the Fallout show though. Maybe they'll get me in the mood to play some Fallout. It's been a long time since I played a Fallout game. I have Fallout 3 for free on like Epic. I also have it on my 360, but I'm saying I have two ways to play that. I don't even think I've ever touched Fallout 3. I played New Vegas like probably about 10 hours, and then I got like stuck in this cave, and I couldn't figure out my way out, and I think that's why I just stopped playing. And if I wanted to try it again, I would have to like reload by a lot. I also like struggled when I was younger playing like in a Bethesda game because I never really understood like what to do, essentially. I don't know. It's interesting. Wonder if I should retry Starfield, but as far everything I remember about that game, it just wasn't that fun. It's just kind of whatever. It would also take forever to reinstall. Anyways, I'm pumped for Elder Scrolls 6. Fantasy better than sci-fi. I've officially decided, at least when it comes to video games. There's some sweet sci-fi video games, so I don't know if it's because like I love Metroid. Metroid's awesome. I think in general though, I don't want to say so fan video games. I think in general though, I've become a little more fantasy and sci-fi. Star Wars doesn't count because it's fantasy that's dressed up as sci-fi. Like they're wizards. They're wizards, and like the society is set up like fantasy, where there's like kings and queens, and like yes, there's a republic, but it's very, very like fantasy feeling. Whereas like Star Trek is sci-fi. There's like the galactic, I mean, I guess there's a galactic senate, I guess. Star Wars just feels like fantasy. Dune is very clearly sci-fi in my mind. Yes, there's elements of fantasy with like the families and the houses, but just like the way they do things, Dune feels very sci-fi. Star Wars is the only sci-fi I would say that kind of can classify as both. All right. Wait, we went all over the place today. I told you it was going to be a long one, I think, at the beginning, and I was correct. I better start editing this and get this out if I want this out tonight. So if you listen to this in the morning, I appreciate it. And if you just listen to this at all, I appreciate it. And that's all from me.